So now we move on to setting goals and profit taking. A common misconception with investors is that once they've placed their trades and invested, they do not need a plan, as they believe when the time is right they will know what to do. Now, if this were true, we could all sit back and forget about every investment and get around to handling it, when we need to, which hopefully is not how any investment works if you want to remain profitable. Now, as smart investors, guys, we have to create a real plan behind our investment, and especially in the management side, and this allows us full control over every situation, in particular scenarios that present themselves to us. And as you know, in crypto, the scenarios can get pretty hectic. And our focus in this lesson, is just to understand the benefits and intelligent strategies of profit taking, to overall maximize our return and also ensure we remain profitable, especially through all stages of the running investment. Through the long-term investments we'll be holding, it is important we remain calm, through these stages, because we will be holding essentially for up to 5 years on some of these cryptos. So let's begin with setting goals. So when I say setting goals, we're talking about using the skills you will master in the later chapters to ideally help you identify key points in the market to set as profit-taking zones. The profit-taking zones are essential in making sure we take everything we can from this market whilst minimizing all risks of downside loss. Now, let's take a real-life example as shown here from Ethereum's surge to $400. Now, if you had invested at the real breakout from the $95 region, it would have been wise to identify key whole numbers as potential targets to take a small percentage of profits off the table as price reached and went further towards these levels hit. Now, you may be thinking, why not just hold until $400 around here and sell when the market is looking to reverse? And that's because, unfortunately, as sad as this makes me to say, when it's new highs and we have no real target in sight, we can never truly know when price will begin to slow down, putting our profits at risk of completely reducing should price find resistance and immediately fall from that level, especially during the same day. And as we can see on the weekly charts here especially, drop down to the daily quickly, you can see in the daily chart, the minute we hit these two levels, straight down by almost $200. Again, we hit this level again and we just melted within a day. So guys, it's not worth trying to time this. Now again, if we had profit taking zones set at $150, $250 and $350, we would have taken a significant portion of our profits off the table while still letting them grow each step of the way. So let's say we invested $95, price flies to $150. We take 10% of our profits off. 90% of the profits would be left running to grow until we reach our next target of $250. From here, we take another 10% off and let the 80% profits grow and so forth, and we repeat the cycle. So by following this strategy, you would have accumulated and most likely secured a nice amount of profit in your account, safe from the price fluctuations of the cryptocurrency market. Now guys, in the future lessons when we move on to the stage of Kraken, you will actually be seeing my buys and sells replicated almost identical to this, with several other sells in between, where I just wanted to liquidate some extra money. Now the idea behind this is you are now in a powerful position to readily invest should the market crash, or have your initial investment sum secured back in your account, potentially plus more, so whilst the profits are now running over the long term. So what I mean by that is if the price crashed, you would have money in your account which you've already withdrawn, sitting there ready to reinvest. So to see the effects of this further, let's go back to Ethereum's rise to $400. Just one day after reaching this milestone, obviously, this is now twice we've reached this milestone, F melted all the way to $135 within a month. 1 month to reach $135. That is absolutely insane. Now, had you have not taken the profits off of this investment, you would have watched your portfolio fall around 66% in just a month. I'd done the calculation and it wasn't pretty. Now guys, by following this strategy that all professional investors use, you'll be able to watch the market fall like this quite drastically and not really back an eyelid. There'd be no psychological attachment to this. No matter what happens from this point onwards, you've taken profit every single step of the way, and no matter what happens, it's way above your initial buy price. Now take this into account and try and take this into the next lessons. When we move on to technical analysis, I'd like you to keep these levels in mind and plot these down on any investment you make. This way we're never really in a loss, and especially over the next yearly period when the prices start increasing tenfold, you'll be having profit taking zones and you'll never really be in a loss. Guys, thank you for listening to this lesson.